Good day, everyone. Welcome to our first edition of the Ohsweken Outlaws drivers meeting. The purpose of these, we'll be doing them periodically, is to bring everybody up to speed on all the latest developments that's happening within the league. I want to start first off by congratulating all our division champions, starting with Keith Jackson, who won the Renegades division, and Trevor Shaw, who won the Rebels and the Raiders division, and Steve Fernberg, who won the Rookies division. So congratulations to those guys. There was some great racing, and unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, we weren't able to live broadcast championship night. But what we are doing is having a watch party. It may have happened by the time you see this recording, but encourage everybody to watch that. There'll be interviews with all the champions and the drivers, and we'll be covering both the Rebels and the Renegades race in that. The main thing we wanted to talk about tonight is the new season, the Race to Rivals Shootout 5-week season. We'll be lining up with the iRacing, the 13-week seasons, 4 seasons a year. That's why we have the shortened season. We're taking this opportunity to beta test a few new ideas. There'll be a new scoring system that I'm going to let Preston Cranmer talk to you about it in a little bit. And there'll be an additional penalty system. And John Short, he can talk about that a little bit later. So the new schedule, it's over my shoulder here up on the top screen, but basically, we've added 2 divisions. We have 7 divisions now, starting out Sunday with the retread division. That will be a separate league, actually. It's part of Ohsweken, but it'll be by invite only, so we ensure that it's all the mature guys that are in that. So that'll be on Sundays. On Mondays, we have Monday Night Madness, 3 competitive divisions now. And by now, you might have seen, we've been working all week on balancing the divisions out. I'm sure there's going to be a few egos hurt, but there's a lot on the line last Monday night. It wasn't just the championship, and the guys were going for that. There was guys trying to get enough points to stay in their division, or trying to get their incidents per lap down so that they could stay in their division. So there was all sorts of drama going on in the background there for quite a few guys. And kudos, the incidents came down for a lot of guys. So some good, clean racing and exciting racing. So we've got the 3 divisions. So the Raiders division is now basically like our C division. It'll be starting at 7 o'clock, and then the Rebels will be coming on Division B at 8:15. And the Renegades at 9:30. Those are the new times. Then Thursday night, that'll be Thursday Night Thunder. We'll be having the first race out will be Rookies and Mechanics, we're calling it. So anybody with a D or a rookie license. We had last week, or actually it was a couple nights ago, we had 41 guys come out for the rookie division. Most of them aren't rookies, but we were trying to fill the field. Well, we did more than that. We did it so well that we had to reschedule the second race because we ran over time. So in an effort to kind of control that, it'll just be rookies and D-licensed guys, except for if anybody out there has like buddies that are interested in iRacing, or your dad or your girlfriend or whatever, this is a chance to let them get in your rig. The only thing we need to know is ahead of time that somebody's going to be running your rig if you have more than a D license. So and not just like an hour before the race, because that's a nightmare for us. So that's the first one, is the Rookies and Mechanics. Then we've got the new league, which is now the Rustler League, and that's the fixed 305s. It's been very popular, and a huge shout out to Scott Edwards. He's building some real stable setups for the Rookies division and for the Rustlers division. Not as fast as what he builds for the racing team, but more focused on stability for those newer drivers. And then we'll follow it up end of night. And so the Rookies will go at 7. The Rustlers will go at 8:15, and then at 9:30 we'll have our recruiting division. So that'll be like what the Raiders division was last season. So as I mentioned, we have a new scoring system, we have a new penalty system, and I'm going to let Preston Cramner, our executive VP, second in command, let him talk about some exciting stuff that's going on there.
Yeah, thanks, Roger. Hey, so I just want to spend a few minutes talking about the points keeping software that we've been using in Dan Lisa. I'm assuming you guys are mostly familiar with that just because of going and visiting the points and checking those. But again, we've been using Dan Lisa for the past season since we started. But it's provided some challenges that we quite frankly didn't anticipate. I know Roger spent some time up to the wee hours of the morning, even as recently as last week. We put the points in for championship night, and it spit out some points, and they were wrong. So we had to go back and get those fixed before we released them to everybody, and those aren't things we want to have to deal with. As well, Dan Lisa is going to be ending support here soon. So that means any new tracks aren't going to be added. Lernerville, which is the newer track that we could possibly run, is not in the software and won't be added. So we didn't want to limit ourselves to only the tracks that they have. So I personally have taken on a project to replace Dan Lisa. It's going to be, at the moment, it's called iRacing League Manager. I'm hoping that iRacing will allow me to keep that name. I do own the domain for that. So that'll be coming up shortly. But I've been working on this, and we're going to be keeping the points the same way we have been. All the bonus points that we have are built in the same way, so that's all going to be the same. It's just going to be a different place that we go to view them. I'm working on being able to put them directly into our oorl.ca website so that you won't have to visit multiple sites, but GoDaddy's not been real friendly with me in order to do that. But everything will be the same except for our incident points, right? So we use those incidents to calculate your IL against, it's incidents calculated against the number of laps you run. And so currently we've only been able to do that in the feature. And so what we found is that it might be better for everybody if we're able to calculate those in all of the racing sessions. Those are heats, mains, and the feature, not including practice and warm-up and qualifying. So just when other cars are out on the track. So what we're going to do is we're going to use all of those laps that you run to calculate your IL. It'll also penalize you. Each incident will incur 1 penalty point against your score. It's going to be the same for everybody. So realistically, it should balance out the field a little bit better, and it's going to reward those guys who are running clean throughout the whole night. It's also going to help everybody on their IL, because we've seen in the sample data that I've looked at, those heats and even the early mains, the B main even, we're seeing a lot less incidents. The track's not as slicked off yet, so it should help everybody keep their IL down. So those guys that were kind of pushing that, it should help a whole lot in the coming seasons. I have bigger plans than what Dan Lisa was doing for this software, but for now we're going to just leave it at points. We're going to get that up and running. Aesthetically, early on, it's not going to be a lot to look at, but the data will be there. I can assure you that. It may take into the first week to make sure that all the standings are showing up, but we've got that data. It reads all the information in from iRacing. There's no extra work required, so it should be good. It should make us more efficient as an admin team. It should be beneficial to you guys as the development occurs. If you have ideas, I'd love to hear those. Feedback is great. So as that gets up and running, please let me know what you think. Let me know if you see something that's not working, because it'll do nothing but help me. Having said all that, I'm going to throw it over to our newly appointed competition director in John Short. Take it away, Shorty.
Thanks, Preston. As Preston said, I'll be a new competition director and the head of the review committee. There's a bunch of guys behind me doing great work, and we'll continue to do so. And we're excited to introduce a new points penalty system where we're going to start accumulating the points that each person is going to incur throughout each season. You'll have 1 point for each EOL you have, 2 points for each feature EOL you have, and 3 points for each week of suspension you have throughout each season. And if you reach a certain threshold, there'll be probably a couple levels. One of them, which would be, you don't get promoted to the next level, session above you, if possible, and the other one would be where you get an automatic demotion to the lower level below you. And these thresholds will be posted on the website or on the Facebook page and the pit notes. One way or another, you'll be able to see those and have a reminder of those if you're getting close to that level. And going forward, as Preston said, we'll have a new scoring system that'll also, be tallying up every lap that you have and points throughout the night, but it'll also be introducing incident points throughout the night. So every contact, every time you get in a wreck, anything like that throughout the night is also going to be taken away from points. So let's just try and give each other some room throughout the night and try and be competitive, but also be respectful of your fellow drivers. In addition to that, just wanted to throw out a warning and let drivers know that we're going to take a closer look at starts, especially those guys that are getting out of line before start finish line, that are passing before start finish line. And the idea is we want to stay behind the driver until the start finish line. We don't want anybody being beside a driver trying to pass or completing a pass before that point, trying to follow the real world example of the orange cone out on the front stretch that everybody's seen at a dirt track. So if you do this multiple times a night, it is going to be a compound penalty that we're going to penalize, and if you do it multiple times a night, we're going to ramp those penalties up to potentially a suspension if it requires that much, so to get the point across. So we're not afraid to do that, and hopefully we won't ever have to, but just a reminder that we're going to start taking a little bit closer look at that. Jump starts are an important part of this. So and even though we're doing our best as a review committee, we're shorthanded, and so if we do miss something, don't take offense to it, but please realize that you guys have the opportunity to protest an incident every week. If it bothers you, if it ruins your night, and you feel that it's more than just a racing incident and you want it reviewed, please contact us. We have an email that's posted every week on Pit Notes. It's Ohsweken Outlaws Review Committee @gmail.com. Please send us an email. Everybody's got email, so send us an email and let us know which race it was, what lap it was, and we'll take a look at it and provide a fair ruling for both sides, but also have all the facts available and make sure we don't miss it. So with that reminder, I just want to say thank you to all the guys part of the committee that have stepped up and are spending multiple hours every week. That includes Jeff Barker, Andy LePage, and now we got 2 new members recently with Jordan Hack and Bruce Hilton, and that are going to help with the review committee and put a bunch of hours in and try and make this a great time for everybody involved. Also, we have Andy Patton stepping up to the plate. He's going to be the race director for the Raiders and the Renegades League, and so we should be able to. He's going to help run those and identify some incidents for us to help speed up the process all the way throughout the night. Anybody else, if you guys have some extra time and you want to be a part of this league and help make it better, please get a hold of Roger and volunteer, and we'll find a place for your needs or your abilities. So I think that's all I got. So back to you, Roger.
Well, thanks Preston and John for bringing us up to speed on the 2 new systems that are coming in and some of the other news that's going on. As Preston may have talked about, the end of February we've got March Madness, a new special event. We're going to try to raise more money for charity than we have before, and we will be looking for some direction from the drivers, where we want to donate it to. We'd like to donate it to some group that maybe supports drivers, like there's the Greg Hodnett Foundation, but I think that only is directed towards Pennsylvania. So we're looking for that, or any other really good charity, but that's more like an international, and everybody recognizes what it's about. So we'll be looking for some suggestions there. And just in closing, before I go, I can't say enough about our great partners, Strickland's and 3-9, Turn 5, Big Bacon Media, but also especially the Rivals Racing League. Rivals Racing League is owned and run by Clinton Jeffries, who is the track manager at Ohsweken Speedway, and Adam Ross, who is the announcer at Ohsweken, but also the announcer for all the NASCAR races, all the Pinty NASCAR races up here in Canada. And so those guys are well connected, well organized. If you've ever been up to Ohsweken, you'll know Clinton knows how to run a show and make big things happen. So I had a business meeting with them earlier this week. I had to sign a non-disclosure, so I can't talk about details. All I can say is some of the stuff they've got planned is just, it's over the top. Nobody's doing it. So I can't say much more than that other than stay tuned. And we've got a great system here with working with our rivals, and it's only going to get better. So good luck to all the drivers out there. I hope you enjoy this next mini season, and thanks for all your support.
Hey, thanks, Roger. Yeah, so I want to spend a few minutes talking about the new point system that we're going to be. I don't know what to do with my hands.
Just put them by your side.